Good evening and welcome to the show. And these are my controversial three NFL opinions. This is kind of like part one, and I like these are the three things, the three topics that I feel like are so much bigger than people think and are so real, but a lot of the world or a lot of the perception is the opposite. And in a nutshell, yeah, like these are my three controversial NFL opinions that I believe are 100% true. We're going to start with the most recent event, which was the Broncos versus Miami Dolphins. And what happened, there's a lot to talk about with this game, obviously. Anytime you lose 70-20 in NFL, like there's something going on, right? I think Mike McDaniel should have kicked the field goal and taken the NFL record. I think they will forever live to regret that decision. Sports is a confidence thing. These are grown men. If they can't handle winning and losing, I don't know what to tell them. Maybe it's time to retire and let someone else get that check. Mike McDaniels. Not only have you not won a Super Bowl, you have a quarterback that has had to fight through so much as a player. Like, this is not a quarterback that has been doted on. His previous coach didn't even like him. A lot of people think he's too short. A lot of people think he can't throw the ball hard enough. You could have given him so much confidence knowing that he quarterbacked a team that put up the highest points in NFL history since, let me reference, 1966, bro. Come on, man. You don't think that confidence matters in sports? Confidence matters in everything. But in sports, as the quarterback of your team, you don't want to help him, his confidence. Not only that, this is a quarterback that has had to deal with a lot of negativity in his career, a lot of doubt in his career. You don't think that would have helped him mentally? You don't think that would have helped the team mentally? Not just him, all the other players, knowing that they were on the team. You don't think that would have helped your message? When you go into the practice field, you don't think that would have motivated your players? I think you gotta kill the team, the opponent, man. You gotta kill the opponent. I think the nice guy mentality, the sportsmanship is for after the game and before the game, maybe, but not during the game. If you don't kill your opponents, they'll come back. You gotta kill your opponents. Seriously, the nice guy mentality in life. I'm talking beyond sports. Forget sports. Nice guy mentality in life. What do they say? Nice guys finish last. Nice guy mentality in life will get you more disappointment than anything. I've experienced this so many different times. I could tell you 20, 30, 40 stories about in my own personal life where being nice or too nice ended up being a major problem. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be nice. I'm not saying you shouldn't have sportsmanship. But if you have the opportunity to kill your opponent, you take it. If you have the opportunity to boost your own confidence, you take it. If they don't win the Super Bowl, I'm going to look back at that moment and say, wow, you had the opportunity and you didn't take it. They may never win the Super Bowl again. Sports, you can't be dibbling and daddling with sports. When you have your opportunity, you have to strike. I see that from every team that wins championships, every team, they strike. There's never moments like these. This, like, everyone would be like, oh, it's great sportsmanship. Now it's just another regular season game. There's nothing historic about it. Second most, who cares? This decision might have doomed the Dolphins. Now, if they win the Super Bowl, I'll look like an idiot. But you gotta kill your opponent, man. This was him not kicking that field goal. If you didn't know, yeah, they just didn't. They had the opportunity to put up 73, which would have been the NFL record. Him not kicking that field goal, him deciding not to kick that field goal. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let me move on to the next controversial opinion. Controversial opinion 2. Man, short quarterbacks are good, man. Short quarterbacks are good. Okay? There's a lot to say about this and why and like what is going on with this. I say like the biggest thing with short quarterbacks is most of them have a chip on their shoulder. And I think a lot of great people, a lot of very successful people have chips on their shoulder. Even like a LeBron James, grew up fatherless, poor, no college degree. Like Kevin Durant, skinny. Steph Curry, too short, skinny. A lot of great players in any sport have chips on their shoulders. A lot. When I see it with these short quarterbacks, bro, like most of them are good. I go down the list. Drew Brees, great, probably top 5 quarterback. Most of the time you hear other NFL players talk about Drew Brees, they think he's like one of, if not the best quarterback. Kyler Murray, great. Kyler Murray, excellent. If you don't think Kyler Murray's good, man, ask the Jets if they wouldn't mind having him, or the Falcons. I'm a Falcons fan. I would take Kyler Murray in a heartbeat. Short quarterbacks, man. Bryce Young. Now, Bryce will kind of touch on his problem in the next slide, but great quarterback. Plays in a trash, very clown. I call him clown show franchise. He plays for a clown show franchise. That's his problem. Again, Brock Purdy is in Tua. Yeah, Tua. Okay, short. Seems to be doing fine. All the busts in the NFL I've seen have been taller guys. The only short quarterback that has been a bust is Johnny Manziel. And Johnny Manziel's problem was off the field. Even Baker Mayfield, who is somewhat considered a bust, he's still fighting. A lot of his problems are kind of off the field too. But like, I think in life, this teaches about life too. In life, like I said, chips on your shoulder are big, and you gotta use what you have to your advantage. I think short quarterbacks, they might be harder for defensive backs to recognize. You know, like, and I think it kind of gives offensive players an advantage because they're probably hard to see themselves, but they're so used to practicing with them that they're kind of used to it. You know, if you're always practicing against a tall quarterback, then when you verse a short quarterback, it's kind of confusing. And I feel like also mentally, these guys are prepared. You know, they know they're the smallest. And what's the knock on short quarterbacks? Oh, they get injured, they get battered easily. Okay, that's fair. But are tall players immune from that? Is Joe Burrow immune for that? Is Tom Brady, who tore his ACL in a game, is he immune from that? I don't think tall players are immune from that either. Brock Purdy was healthy every game of the season until the NFC Championship, where he kind of had like a freak accident and hurt his arm, and now he's right back to playing at a high level. You know, Tua has his issues. That's kind of like individual. I wouldn't say that has really anything to do with his height, but you know, Kyler gets banged up. Yeah, Drew Brees, not too much. So, you know, is that even really factor in? I think everyone gets banged up. So their biggest problem is basically their injury thing, and big players aren't immune to that either. On the flip side, they probably do everything else well. Like when I look at Brock Purdy, he doesn't use his physique. All he does is just get rid of the ball and get rid of the ball accurately to another player. You know, like that's just what he does. So I think short quarterbacks, man, like they can play to their advantage. And I was gonna give one more example of playing to your advantage. Like I'm a big soccer guy too, right? N'Golo Kante, who, if you're not aware, he was like a defensive midfielder for Chelsea, right? He's the best defensive midfielder in terms of winning the ball I've ever seen, you know, and many people will agree with that. He probably is, right? But what's interesting about him is he's 5'6". So the one thing that he does extremely well is actually easier to do as a taller player. Because I've played most great defenders in soccer, they're at least like 6 feet tall. A lot of them, you need like decent sized legs and decent sized feet to intercept the ball. It just helps. Like I know from personally, like if I was even an inch shorter, I'd probably get to half the balls I get to. Like it definitely matters. So, but what's interesting is, like I said, Conte is only 5'6". So how is he doing this? It's just anticipation. And again, like he uses his height to his advantage. Like these other players, they can't see him either. So, hey, like that's short quarterbacks, man. I think short quarterbacks are for real. And I call this the rise of short quarterbacks. Tell me Tua and Brock Purdy aren't the best 2 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like, and then I can name the biggest busts in NFL history, and they're all tall. Jamarcus Russell, tall. Zach Wilson, tall, big arm, big physical. I'm like, okay, every single bust I see also is because of the same reasons. It's very, very rarely is a bust like because they betted on the mental part of the game. Usually it's because they betted on the physical. Again, Zach Wilson, big arm, can make every throw. Okay, sure. Jamarcus Russell, big arm. He was throwing from the 50-yard line on his knees. Okay, sure. Trey Lance, big arm. He only played 19 games. Big physical guy. Okay, sure. Like keep betting on that. And this is the NFL where that matters, and it still fails a lot. So the rise of short quarterbacks. And we'll get to my last one. I call this the bum franchise. Oh, I call them the clown show franchises, right? Okay, in the NFL, there is 4 clear clown show franchises. And this is like a two-parter in the controversy, right? And there's 4 clown show franchises, okay? We have the Panthers. I feel like if you're drafted to any of these teams, your career is essentially a low ceiling. The Panthers, not even Cam Newton could overcome the Panthers. And I'm a Falcons fan. I saw Cam Newton play twice a year. In his MVP season, in his prime, he was the best individual player in the NFL. And I'm not even a huge Cam Newton fan. Like, I'm really not. Ask anybody that knows me. Like, I'm not a big Cam Newton fan. But, like, if we're talking just pure physicality, size, speed, arm, playing ability, he was the best that season. For sure. And he could not overcome the clown show that is the Carolina Panthers. And what do you know? The Carolina Panthers got another number 1 pick this season. Come on, man. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the city of Charlotte. So sorry if I offend anybody by that, but Charlotte to me is a very weird city. that might also be part of the problem. But man, if you're drafted to any of these clown show franchises, you don't really have much of a chance. But the part 2 of this is, I guarantee you, if Tom Brady was drafted on one of these franchises, he'd probably have maybe 1 Super Bowl. So that's why I have a hard time really thinking he's like the GOAT, because, I mean, again, this is a two-parter. While he played, I'm not sure he was that much better than Peyton Manning. Now, I should put the Colts on here. I think I should have. I think that was the one clown show franchise I missed, the Colts. Something that only Peyton Manning couldn't even overcome. Do you not think if Peyton Manning was drafted to the New England Patriots, he would have won like 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls? I absolutely think I think he would have. So what makes Tom Brady so good is everyone's like, oh well, it's not Bill, it's Tom, and yada. I'm like, okay, guys, let's take a step back and put our thinking caps on for a second. Okay, Tom is probably the best offensive player we could argue in NFL history. Sure, we'll say that, right? And he has the best defensive coach in NFL history. So was Tom playing defense during any of those Super Bowl runs? How many of those Super Bowl runs actually came down to good defense? How many times were they blown out in any of those Super Bowl runs? Okay, defense matters. Bill Belichick helped. Bill Belichick is widely considered one of the best NFL defensive coaches, and he still is. If you watch the Patriots play even now, they're still a great defensive team. So, like, yes, when you combine the best offensive player with the best defensive coach, you're going to get good results, right? That's why everyone rags. I'm mainly talking about Colin Cowherd because I watch a lot of his videos too. He rags on defensive coaches, but I'm like, if you're a great offensive player, I feel like your chance of winning games is very high if you have the best defensive coach or one of the best 2 defensive coaches, because you're covering both sides of the ball. So, if you have a defensive coach, if you're a great offensive player, you should be able to overcome that. But anyways, back to these trash franchises. And B for Burrow. Joe Burrow plays for the Bengals. Yes, he went to a Super Bowl. Okay, we get it. A lot of guys have gone to Super Bowls. There's a big difference for me between winning a Super Bowl and going to the Super Bowl. But Joe Burrow, like, his problem is he plays for the Bengals. Like, the Bengals are a trash franchise, bro. Like, and this is the thing too with trash franchises. What makes these trash franchises, or am I just being a hater? Okay, I don't know, man. It seems like these teams can never ever seem to consistently win anything, right? Maybe I'm just the only one that sees this, but I know from business, and I understand business owners and things like that, because I'm a part of 4 different businesses. Like, I get business, right? So like there's different types of owners. There's owners that are all in on winning. I think a good example of this is Mark Cuban of the Dallas Mavericks, right? Which is basketball, right? But he's the best example for me. This guy clearly wants to win an NBA championship, and he has, right? Mark Cuban has never been given a number 1 pick. Like there's not a lot going on with Dallas in terms of like a basketball location. It's not a basketball hotbed. Football is obviously bigger in Texas. Like there's not a whole lot of reason for him to even ever win a championship. But they're fairly consistently competitive despite very low despite not a whole lot of help. Like I said, he hasn't got a number one pick. He's never drafted like a transcendent player. You could say Luka. Okay, sure. Do you remember he got Luka with the 5th pick of the draft? He had the 5th pick and got Luka. Traded for Trae Young. Come on, man. They had like the 5th pick and they got Luka. When you're desperate to win, not every owner is on that. Some owners are more concerned with ticket sales. Some owners are more concerned with TV revenue. Some owners have different concerns. Some owners just don't know football. Some owners meddle too much. I think Jim Irsay of the Colts. It seems like it's the Jim Irsay show, and for all the wrong reasons. Now, you can make it your show. Like, I feel like Jerry Jones, for example, everyone dogs on Jerry Jones, but he's won Super Bowls, right? Jerry Jones actually knows football. He's played football, and he's very active with the Cowboys. A lot of people, for some reason, blame him for them not winning. I mean, it's probably Dak's fault, but we could, that's a different discussion for a different time. Like, yeah, like there's owners have different priorities. These owners, for me, aren't dead set on winning. I don't see it. I just don't. I really don't. It's a certain mentality you got to have if you're all in on winning a Super Bowl. If you're all in on winning championships, I don't see it. In basketball, I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan. I know for a fact the Atlanta Hawks just don't have that mentality. There's just no way. There's no way they're all in, and it starts at the very top. I feel like teams that win championships at the very top are very solid. Let's look at Kraft from the Patriots. Solid. You never hear anything stupid with them. You never hear weird controversies like you do with these guys, and they seem like they have a drive, right? I don't know what is with these owners, but like I said, they don't have their foot on the gas pedal at all. These teams are always trash. I don't know how long you want to be an expansion team. I don't know how long your excuse is, Texans. CJ Stroud looks good, but my goodness, man, how many number 1, 2, 3 picks are you guys gonna have? Same thing with the Panthers. Like, come on, man. Same thing. All these guys are like number 1 pick soakers. I mean, these guys get number 1 picks every like 2 years. Like, seriously, I bet at the end of the year, one of these teams or the Colts is going to have like the number 1 pick. Like, seriously. And yeah, again, the part 2 is like, I love Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. And is he the GOAT? Sure. Like, I think when you add things together, he has more Super Bowls than everybody else. It's kind of hard to argue with that because I actually like that metric because I hate when people hype up Dan Marino. I'm like, bro, Dan Marino didn't even win a Super Bowl. Like, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls. Like, are you winning football games? That's what I care about. That's my mentality. I don't know if that's everyone's. Everyone's like, oh, some people are concerned with the pretty side of things, just like some owners are concerned with ticket sales. Are you winning football games? That's what I care about. Now, Tom Brady won important football games. If he was drafted by any one of these 4 sorry teams, do we think he'd be the GOAT? Would he be the GOAT if he had 1 Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowls? Do we think he'd be the GOAT? I don't know. That's why I have a hard time really saying he's the GOAT like I do a Michael Jordan of basketball. But at the same time, like I said, he did win championships, and you can't really take that away from him. He also won championships on different teams, so he's a baller. Like, trust me, I'm not hating on Tom Brady. I definitely think Tom Brady is an elite of elite quarterbacks. But I also think, like, Peyton Manning is probably of the same caliber. Probably there's a couple quarterbacks that I think are kind of in the same caliber now. Now, Tom Brady was clutch now, and ironically, my last controversial statement before I end this video is, man, I see a little bit of Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins sometimes, man. Man, Kirk in the fourth quarter, bro, if Kirk just played like he does in the fourth quarter of games 100% of the time, man, this dude would probably have like 2-3 Super Bowls by now. Bro, Kirk be turning up in the fourth quarter, man. But yeah, guys, these are my 3 controversial NFL opinions. just to review, Mike McDaniels, bro, you got to kick that field goal, bro. I can't believe he had the chance to do something like that. And for whatever moral justification, dude, if you had a moral justification, you should have stopped scoring at 50 points. How many teams are going to come back from, like, how many teams have ever won a game after getting scored on 50 points, dude? If you have a moral compass, you should have dropped it at that point. Short quarterbacks are on the rise. Brock Purdy and my boy Tua are leading the charge. Don't get drafted by these trash franchises, bro. Like, R.I.P. Joe Burrow, bro. Like, R.I.P. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.